is actually going to be about fire safety during ritual. You know, a lot of this stuff is pretty much common sense, but as you can see here, I actually have a few things set up that I'm going to be talking about. One of the things that I have here is a smudge stick, okay? Now, these things are usually lit, for those of you who do know. These things here are actually lit to usually cleanse yourself as well as cleanse the area that you're going to be working in. So these, you can either use an abalone shell like some do, or you can do like I do and get a $4 incense dish from Walmart. And you sit it in here. When these things are lit, there are hot embers that can fall off of them. And there's also the fact that, you know, if, say, you have like dried herbs on your altar, you don't want those hot embers hitting them herbs unless they're actually in a dish like this. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that, you know, stuff does catch fire. So, I mean, seriously think about this before you get into really doing anything heavy and hardcore. Going back to this said dish, there are other people who will use powdered incense or dried herbs to actually create their own incense. And there's a few things that you can get. There's sand that you can get, and there's a couple other things that I can't remember off the top of my head. But sand's predominantly the main thing that you can get. You can get it in different colors, and it's not that expensive. I mean, this little bag here cost me $2. But anyway, what you're going to do is you're only going to put just a little bit of sand across the bottom to keep the heat low, okay? And then if you use charcoal tablets, like I do, these are charcoal tablets, you're just going to set that right down in the center, okay? And then you can go ahead and light your tablet, let it get to the point where it needs to be, and you can add your herbs or your powdered incense, whatever you're going to use. Make sure that you have something that's going to be sturdy, something that's going to be heat resistant. You don't want to use something like plastic to burn a charcoal tablet in, or say like a cone incense. You don't want to put it, you know, something like that in plastic. What's great about these little dishes is you can use either cone incense, you can use loose incense such as powdered incense, or herbal incense like I do. I make my own. But you can use stick incense as well. The tops actually have little holes all through it to allow the smoke to rise up, and this actually does wonders for stick incense. So make sure you have this on something that's not going to catch flame. Make sure that you got some sand or something in there to not only give it a little bit of weight, but to keep the heat off of the bottom. And also, in the case of something like this here is actually my libation dish. This here is my dish that I offer up every time I do a ritual. I always have something new on it. What I have on here right now is actually, I have some buds that I actually harvested off of my tree outside. I have some rose petals, basically things to represent spring. Now, you see the candle in the middle. I do not light this candle at all when it's surrounded by these dried herbs. I don't want to take the risk of these things catching flame. You know, it just would not be a good thing. You know, you don't want to burn your house down. So if you're going to do something like this, like I have presented here, make sure you take the candle off the tray and light it somewhere else. Basically, when you're doing ritual and you have to use fire for whatever reason, guys, never leave a fire unattended. It doesn't matter if it's a candle, if it's an incense, or if it's a smudge stick. It doesn't matter. You really need to be consciously aware of that flame. Beware of loose clothing that hang down. You don't want anything like that getting brushed up against that flame and catching fire. You being on fire and your house being on fire, neither one of them ends up being good. So, guys, this is just a bit, on some basic fire safety things. Just be on the safe side. You can always buy a small fire extinguisher. They're usually about yay big. You can get mini ones to keep next to the area where you work. And just really use common sense when you're around fire. Fire burns. Don't burn yourself with it. Just seriously, use common sense. This is Lady Silver Vixen, and I'm signing out.